is up? Welcome back to my channel. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Andrea Johnson, Reiki Master Teacher and Practitioner, Energy Worker, and Spiritual Lifestyle Content Maker. At you with another coffee talk here. I wanted to do something kind of a little fun. I'm gonna do a tarot card pull, and I'm just kind of like in the mood since I've been doing all these readings lately. I'm just like really loving kind of the vibe I'm getting from this. Let's just kind of see what the vibe of this talk is gonna be. Break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. Wow, that is definitely a vibe. So I wanted to do a video on kind of just getting out of a rut. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling unmotivated, if you're just feeling like down and depressed and things of like that nature, or just burnout. I know for myself, it's been kind of burnout and unmotivated. So those are two kind of completely different energies. I don't really know how that works. It's like depression and anxiety. I don't know how the hell you can have both, but we can. So today I'm gonna go over just some stuff that like I've done personally and maybe you guys can relate. And I'm just gonna kind of say like how I've been feeling and kind of my mindset shifts that I've been having to make like just around these things to kind of help you guys pull yourself from these ruts and just kind of like shift your perspective on them. Because that's the whole goal of this, is to really understand what is going on. So let's talk about like being in a rut. Like, what is it? Obviously we've all been there, we're human, but it's just lately that I have been feeling like I'm going through burnout. I'm feeling unmotivated. Whenever I realize that this stuff is happening, then I start playing scenarios over in my head, and it's just like a downward spiral. It is just like a never-ending cycle, and it just keeps going down and pulling you down and down, and it is the worst feeling to be in and to be stuck in this. But that's exactly what it is. It's a storyline that you are stuck in, that your brain is like playing on repeat for a reason. And usually when we're feeling these things, we're feeling these emotions, we're feeling like shit pretty much, it is because there's something within our mindset that is not aligning with our soul, our spirit. And so then hence it's causing these emotions to trigger, and then we get caught on this cycle on repeat. So the whole goal of this, the overarching umbrella here, is to shift our mindset around what's actually going on. When I start to go down these like spirals, these cycles, I have noticed patterns within my thoughts, within my thinking, and I've kind of connected the reasons why I get like this. And you don't necessarily have to do this, but I've done shadow work and I know myself well enough to understand why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, and I have to shift back in my perspective. So for example, this week I've felt a lot of burnout. I've felt a combination of burnout, being unmotivated, and honestly stuck in a rut. I know when I feel burnout, it is because it is a subconscious belief that I'm feeling not enough and what I'm doing isn't enough. And so I keep pushing myself, and it's almost like this wall that I keep hitting, or you know, it's like a wall you keep hitting, and you just constantly feel like you need to be producing more and pushing more and, you know, meeting expectations. And that is such the farthest thing from the truth. When you're feeling burnout and you've pushed yourself too far, that's your body saying to slow down. That is your body saying to retreat in. That's your mind, your spirit saying to retreat inward. Usually when I feel burnout, it is because of the feelings of, you know, I need to be producing more at work. I need to be putting out more content. I need to be helping more people. And when we start to play these scripts in our head of things that we think we should be doing, we're stressing ourselves out, and we're putting a lot of expectation on ourselves, and we're trying to meet said expectation. And so when we don't meet it, or we feel like we don't meet it, or that we're not helping enough people, or we're not, you know, getting approval from enough people, we keep pushing and pushing for more, and it's almost like we're on this hamster wheel of like death pretty much. So I know when I reach burnout, I have to shift my mindset, because usually when we are feeling these things, it's usually because of a challenge, or I don't want to say a challenge, but we're supposed to be learning something in the moment, and that is to go with like all of this. It's really hard, especially with burnout, because I feel like we live in a society today that it just is normal. Like, it is just a normal part of society, and it's really sad that we feel like we as humans have to work ourselves to death or we have to work ourselves to gain approval or prove our worth or something like that. And when we do that, we're actually like giving other people power or giving other things power over us and not creating it within ourselves. And that is what is really kind of the disalignment with the soul, is you're not feeling your self-worth in the moment. And that's the whole thing with manifesting. We have to create what we want to feel in the moment. And so when we do this, burnout, whatever, people pleasing, you're not enough, whatever you want to call it, you're giving your power away. And so you have to really, I know for myself, I have to stop and go in and retreat and shift the way that I see things and understand like what I am doing is enough and showing myself love and compassion in the moment. So when I feel like I am stuck in a rut, or I am not feeling motivated or things, it's kind of like the same. I feel like those two kind of go together. When you feel like you're stuck in a rut, it's usually an uncomfortable feeling because you've gotten too comfortable. And that's kind of what I notice with it. When I'm in a rut and I'm feeling like unmotivated, uninspired, I'm feeling kind of depressive, and I'm writing these stories to myself of just like, why am I doing the things that I'm doing? Like, what is the purpose of all this and stuff like that? And so I get stuck in these ruts of really not wanting to do anything and finding it hard to find inspiration and motivation and honestly to take action. And usually when I find myself doing this, I see that a lot of it is fear-based. A lot of it is I've gotten comfortable with where I'm at. And don't get me wrong, I feel like, you know, there are points in your life where, you know, it's okay to be in routines and comfortable, but there will come a point when you start having like ideas and you start getting, you know, desires, or you start, you know, wanting a change in your life, but yet you still keep going through the motions of your mundaneness of every day, and then you lose your inspiration or your motivation and you start feeling kind of down and depressed. And usually I find that when I feel this way, it's because of a lack of action. It's because that I'm actually not doing things. I'm not holding myself accountable and doing the things that I know that make me feel good or that I should be doing. It's almost like I go into a little bit of a self-destruct mode for some reason. And I think it's just all fear-based, that I am too scared to get out of my comfort zone. And when we do this, it's kind of like when we get depressed and things like that, it's our spirit telling us to move. It's telling us to take these paths or to do the thing that we wanted to do. It's trying to push us out of our comfort zone and into the unknown where we can create and really step into our power. And so when we ignore this need, I find that that is when I get depressed. Now we move on to how the hell do you get yourself out of this hell you've created in your head? Literally, what I've come to find is this storyline is pretty much what is going on in your head. You're telling yourself a story, and that's what these thoughts are on repeat in your mind. For example, with my work or something like that, I feel really negative in my career or something of that nature, and it's because of the story that I'm telling myself. So I have to shift the perspective in which I see it. So when I'm down on myself and I feel like I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing a good job, things of that nature, I have got to shift, because if I still play that scenario in my head over and over, eventually it's going to happen. And so what I've done is I've shifted the way that I talk to myself in my work. I look more of it as challenges in the moment, or how is this growing me in the moment. So even though in the grand scheme of things, I'm not always gonna have that job, but I have it for a reason in the moment. And I really want to see why I'm there and to see how it's gonna grow me and to allow it to grow me and take opportunities to. So rather than seeing it as something that is negative and that like I freaking hate a desk job, I see it as something that it's going to contribute to bettering myself and bettering me towards other goals in my life. You have to see how the journey is molding you. You have to look at it as, what can I learn in this moment to better myself? And that can be with anything. Look at it as, what can I learn in this moment and what can I do to be a better person from it? And then make a movement from there. You have to really shift your perspective to know that the things that you're feeling and going through, like if something has happened to you to really cause you to feel down or something like that, it is honestly for a reason. And you have to understand that everything happens in the universe for a reason, whether we realize it or not. It's all divinely constructed. It has a greater purpose and a plan and you just have to trust it in the moment. And when you kind of realize that, when you realize that there are greater forces at play here, really rooting for you and trying to help you, because you don't know what's down the road or what's to come, but you have to get through what you're going through right now to actually get to something better on the other side. When you understand the energy of the laws of the universe, it really is like a roller coaster, guys. We're riding freaking life. And when we're in the downs and we're in the ruts, it's really freaking hard to see over that damn hill. But we don't know what's over that damn hill. We just know eventually we're gonna get over it. And when we go up and get over it, there's usually something so beautiful on the other side. There was so much growth that was happening in these like darker, lower points in our life where we needed to self-reflect and we needed a life shift or a perspective shift, so then that we could be ready to accept what was coming for us in the future, or to be able to manifest physically in this reality. So it's kind of shifting your perspective on seeing it like that instead of being a victim in your life. Because when you're a victim in your life and you just let these stories, your mind really write the script for you, you are powerless. You give your power away. And when you do that, it's discouraging because you feel like you're trapped. You honestly feel like life is happening to you instead of for you. It's a pretty much a really shitty downward spiral, and it's a really negative place to be and a hard place to pull yourself from if you stay there too long. So that's kind of like my thoughts behind it. You have to really shift your perspective and your mindset to pull yourself from these downward spirals. And there are tons of tools and which ways that you can do it with the mindset, because you literally create your reality from the inside out. And if you see negative, you're gonna see negative in every aspect of your life. That is just how the energy works. That's how the mind works. That's how we are creators. But when we are conscious of these things, we can really shift it and we can change our story and we can be the director of our lives and the star of the show. We just have to switch our perspective and actually overcome a few fears, maybe do some inner work to get over the mountain. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are the mountain. So I did kind of touch on myself, like dissecting the reasons why I had these thoughts or these feelings too, but I don't want to put so much emphasis on trying to figure out the reasons why you feel the way that you do. I think that there is an importance to understand your feelings and maybe how they got there, hence like maybe there was something that happened in childhood or anything like that. But I don't want, and I know this from my own self, I don't think it's beneficial to stay there or to keep dwelling on that or to keep digging and digging, or if you can't figure out anything, to really like keep trying to figure it out. Because even though I feel like it serves a little bit of a purpose, I think there's greater purpose and changing the mindset. Like, the feeling of discomfort and dis-ease that you have in the moment is feeling enough. It's validation enough for how you feel that you need to make a change. It doesn't necessarily matter where it came from or what or how you got that trigger, because usually I see, like, if somebody had a childhood trauma, or, you know, even with myself that have happened to me in the past, I'm like, well, this is why I feel this way, and hence why I can't, you know, get out of this rut. Or like, my idea on perfectionism is because like I never felt good enough growing up or measuring up to like set expectations. So I'm always gonna have this, you know, whatever. When we kind of tie ourselves to a memory or to, you know, something that happened in the past, it is honestly, I really feel like taking our power from us, because we almost give ourselves an excuse, or we kind of bring it up again and we kind of say, well, this is just who I am, you know, it's whatever. But it doesn't relieve you of having the responsibility to change it. You still have to change it, even though if something happened to you and it might not have been your fault, it's still up to you to break the cycle, to change said mindset, or to get that energy out of your body, or to heal the trigger, however you want to see it. And so when we tie ourselves to the past, or then we start kind of labeling ourselves of, you know, well, I had a drug addiction and I'm just, you know, an addict, or I'm an ex-addict, I'll always have this, you know, struggle for the rest of my life. If you kind of like dwell there and in the past, or just on the things of why you're feeling the way that you feel, you're going to keep putting emphasis on why you feel the way that you feel, thus recreating the storyline of those emotions and those feelings within you. And you're kind of just in another trapped cycle. So I try to focus more on the mindset shift of everything that is happening for me, really looking for the lessons and the challenges in the situation, and how I can grow and be a better person from it, and how I can really use it for my advantage. So that's kind of like my viewpoint on these things of getting in ruts, or like, you know, depression, or, you know, motivation, things of that. And guys, don't get me wrong, I should have done like a trigger warning. If you're really struggling, if you're really freaking struggling, please do not feel bad about getting professional help. There is nothing wrong with getting professional help. I've been to therapy before as a child. I use this stuff as tools to help me, but therapy, medication, whatever it may be, please, 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 if you feel you need it, please go and get it. There is no shame in that. Anyway, moving on. So there are some things that otherwise, besides shifting your perspective, that you can do. There are tools that you can use. Like I said, I like to do, you know, my spiritual tools. I like, you know, you can do card pulls. All of it is communication with the subconscious, trying to learn more about yourself, but more so to stop the thoughts on repeat in your mind. I always find doing 3 things really help me out. One is meditation, and that is honestly what stops the thoughts. I focus on my breath. I focus sitting in silence, and I just let the thoughts replay. I just let them go. Eventually they will stop, and I don't put so much emphasis on the fact that if they're not stopping, I don't freak out about it. I just let my body, or let, you know, my mind just run itself out. Because when you try to stop it and freak out about like, oh my gosh, like I can't get rid of the thoughts, you're literally recreating the thoughts. So give yourself permission to feel your feels. It is okay. Give yourself, you know, love and gratitude in the moment. That is a huge one. Love, gratitude, compassion, understanding the way that you feel is okay. You're validated in your feelings. And I think that's a huge one too, because we are taught that we need to shove our feelings down and we need to play big and tough. And that is the complete opposite of what we need to do in this situation, guys. When we do that, that's what actually keeps them stuck, keeps you stuck. So feel your feels, let yourself feel the emotions, and let your body process it, and don't hold judgment on yourself. That's the things that keeps these in the cycle, because if you just let it go and let, you know, be a witness to the thoughts, or just give yourself love and gratitude and compassion, those things go away. Eventually the mind will calm down, and you'll be able to sit in silence in a meditative state. Breath work is amazing for this. If you just kind of like breathe, you can look up a ton of things online. But I usually bring my awareness to my heart center, and I'll put my hand on my chest, and then I will actually bring my awareness there, and it kind of brings me back into my body, and the thoughts kind of dissipate. But so you can use tools like that. When you show yourself love, gratitude, and compassion in the moment, and validation for your feelings, you're actually shifting that energy of like the depression or the anxiety or whatever it may be. You're shifting that energy to the love and compassion. It's really hard to, when you're showing yourself self-love, essentially is what it is, love and compassion and kindness, and, you know, giving yourself grace for how you feel and telling yourself it's okay. When you're doing that, you're actually giving yourself that energy, and it's making it go away. So and that is one thing that is really, really hard for us humans to do, is show ourselves self-love and to meet ourselves with it. We usually are the ones that like to give it, but never receive it or show it for ourselves. So that is just how it is. But and the last thing that I do is, if you have to ask for help, ask for help. And not just like with, you know, medication or things like that, from your spirit team, from God. You know, ask and you shall receive. If you just surrender, honestly, if you surrender and just, you know, God, show me, help me, or you know, I surrender to your will, like show me the way, or give me a sign, things of that nature. It's very powerful, extremely powerful, because you will be helped. Now, does that relieve you from doing the work later on? No, but in the moment, God will come, and, you know, the universe, whatever, spirit guides, angels, they will come pull you from it. You will always receive what you ask for. But like I said, it doesn't relieve you of the responsibility of, if life tests you again, to actually work on making the mindset shifts. So, and I say that was the last thing, but honestly, with all of this, guys, give yourself credit for showing up, like, each and every day. You know, some days are better than others in our mindset, and honestly, it really freaking is like a roller coaster. Some days I'm feeling on top of the world, I have a great mindset, I'm like really productive, and I feel good about what I'm doing. And then there's other days, like it could be the very next day, and I'm like down, and I just, you know, I'm just like, what the hell happened between one whole day? You know what I mean? But there is a bigger picture at play here, guys, and there's more than what the eye can see that's, you know, going on behind the scenes. And it's just to remember that, you know, if you need help, there's always help available for you. And it's to remember that you have to trust and have faith in what you're going through. Understand there is a bigger picture, and understand that it is guided, and you are guided, and you honestly, I promise you are never alone. I can't describe how I know these things. It's the inner knowing, and it's, you know, experiencing it. God, whatever, it's everywhere. It's always with you. It's inside of you. Anyways, guys, I hope that this gave you a little bit of insight, maybe a little bit of motivation, inspiration, maybe kind of shifted your perspective on how to view these things, because I really feel like it's important. Our mindset really is everything. It is our life. It's how we build a life consciously. That being said, I really appreciate all your likes and your subscribes. And please comment below if there's anything, any kind of topic that you would like me to cover. Like literally anything, guys. If we want to talk aliens, if we want to talk interdimensional beings, channeling, any kind of weird shit, like I've probably had it happen. So sending you guys all my light and all my love. We'll see ya.